Cancer never checks to see whether you have any savings account, whether you have insurance, or even if you have a place to land. Today I'm talking with Dixie Melillo, our doctor, our co-founder, and the person who's behind every new idea we ever had here at The Rose. But this idea is something very different. She has one big dream, and that's to somehow have a St. Jude-style hospital for breast cancer. She wants to have a place where women can receive treatment and everything else they need, and it doesn't depend on whether they can pay or not. We're thinking about the moms who hear you have cancer and then start doing the math. Job, insurance, rent, even who's going to watch the kids, and how a place like this could be the ultimate change in that story and the reason for survival. Dixie and I have done a lot of hard things before. After all, we co-founded The Rose. But this one is going to be one of the hardest things that ever happens. Knowing Dixie and her determination, it will come true. Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. Dr. Melillo, thank you so much for being with us today. Dixie, thank you. You know, The Rose started with a dream. We didn't have a clue how we were ever going to do this thing. And I want you to talk about your newest dream, but give us a little background on why The Rose got started, how it got started.
I'm telling you. It goes back. In fact, now I almost feel like I'm back in 1983. Helpless. You know, that's when I started doing surgery. Got out of my residency, went to Bayshore. There were virtually no women surgeons back there. I mean, I was the second one that ever graduated from UTMB. And
you were the first woman anything we had there.
You know, it's like no one really wanted me, and bless his heart, Dr. Epstein said, hell, you can take over my practice. So I was put there, and everybody was looking at me like I was some kind of creature that, you know. I mean, women can naturally cut and sew. I mean, it ought to be, they should, anyway. But mainly, back then, I was sort of funneled all of the breast lumps. And the mental process back then was, if you feel something, you take it out. Mm-hmm. If it's cancer, you go ahead and take the breast off. There were no mammograms or ultrasounds or biopsies or anything then.
It existed, but it wasn't common practice.
Yeah, and I had trained in Galveston. In all fairness, they had a good breast program. They had of course, back then it was like a Xerox mammogram, but boy, you could see things. At Bayshore, all they had was a little foam they put under the breast, and they hit you with the same rads they did a broken leg. I mean, it was like 46 rads instead of 3 or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So all the people in town kind of sent me all the breast lumps, okay? Because they did not want to deal with this stuff, you know.
No.
Women and their emotional status and all that. So I got more and more breast lumps. And I have to tell, they told Dorothy that she worked, public relations for the hospital. They said, you have got to go over there and sell this woman now. You've got to make people like her, you know, and you've got to tell people she's not dangerous. So
well, I don't know if it was that bad, but it was
Dorothy
pretty close.
Was assigned to me to make me palatable to the community, and you know, it was okay if you could, you know, these people, if they had insurance and they could pay, and then we would take them into Bayshore and we would cut the lump out. I would never do the mastectomy at the same time. I refused to traumatize a human like that. You know, if it was cancer, we'd sit down and talk about it and then decide, you know, this is what you need to do. But as a result, I was just sent everybody with a palpable lump. Problem being, a whole lot of these young people or people with breast or cancer that had no insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just take them in there and take it out.
Mm-mm.
I mean, here you have a lump, and it could very well be a cancer. And what are you going to do? There was no way, and I told Dorothy, you got to do something, man. You can't just sit there and watch this cancer eat people up because they don't have insurance. And it was just very perplexing, and I told God, I said, now, God, you have got to do something because we have got to take care of these people.
And
so
you
God
have to
sent me
remember,
Dorothy.
God sent you Dorothy. No, you have to remember this is the mid-'80s,
Yeah.
the oil bust, everybody's losing their job. I mean, there were
Yeah,
more
a lot of
foreclosures
uninsured.
that year, those 3 years, than ever in history, ever again. So a lot of people had lost insurance
Yeah.
that they had through their company.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was a very, very
Hard time.
sad time.
But still, the big hospitals, the charity hospitals, if we could make a diagnosis, yeah, they'd take them.
Yeah.
The problem being with the charity hospitals, they were overloaded with car wrecks, gunshot wounds, this, that, and the other, and a painless lump in the breast to even get an attention in one of these charity hospitals could take a year or two, because if you didn't prove it was cancer, they wouldn't give them
They weren't
the
interested, no.
time of day. And if you could prove it was cancer, though, most of the big hospitals even had a charity program. Like MD Anderson, Methodist, all they had a charity program. And so what I think the crowning blow is that remember that 32-year-old I made you come over and take a picture of? Her cancer was so big, it covered the whole breast, it involuted, and you could see the muscles on her chest wall. It had eaten so bad. And we did take a picture of it, and I put that picture in my book, and I just think it was just, we were both blown away.
And she had 3 kids.
Yeah.
She had nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
And what I remember from that case, and of course there were 13 of them that year, dear. I kept going, how could there be another one? I hated to get your phone call. You'd say, Dorothy, get your camera. And I'd go, oh, no, not another one. Yeah. But I know on that particular young lady, I remember you looking at me and saying, the only thing I can do is hold her hand while she dies.
That was it.
And it was just so, you got to remember, I was a layperson. This wasn't part of my world. And I think for me, that's when it became real. Yeah. It became a matter of, this isn't just something we're trying to market or sell. These are people's lives.
And, I don't want to say I don't have any business sense, but I don't know, what to do. And Dorothy, bless her heart, she knows what to do. She says that she's going to make I still can't get it straight. Is it a 501c3?
Yeah, we had to apply for the
501c3.
501c3.
Something like that.
For nonprofit status, so that we could get donations.
Yeah.
Now, Dixie, people were willing to donate.
Yeah, and
they were
a lot
ready
of the
to.
donations were from you and me.
I know,
at that time.
But there were other people that were wanting to help us. They understood. But we had to have that mechanism. We had to have the vehicle for them to give to. But I also think we learned real quick, we couldn't just raise money and send them somewhere else, because the somewhere else would never follow them all the way through. Right. We had like 54 on the waiting list when we opened. Yeah. And you got determined we have to have our own center. We have to be able to manage this. We have to have that ability to say yes or no. Mm-hmm. And it was that thinking that started the Rose. We knew we couldn't just be the clearinghouse for someone to donate money and then we send them to another hospital or we send them over to an imaging center.
And we made a deal with Bayshore. If they would get a real mammogram machine, that we would go out in the community and talk and give talks and show, the benefits of mammography and all that. We would get them customers if they would lower the price.
Right.
And they did for a while. Mm-hmm. They did. But
there was no answer for the women that had no insurance.
No, there was no way to do it. Mm-mm. And I just can't tell you how marvelous this woman is. She raised money every way you could imagine in your entire life. She had me dressing up as a model and doing fashion shows.
Dixie, you were gorgeous. I mean,
I loved it.
yeah, and you always said, "Oh, don't put me in that." But
And then
you were
sometimes they
good.
would give me the clothes, those little shops, but it was really cool, But she come up with ideas, and oh my gosh, she would put me in for any award that ever came out just so we could raise awareness, And she, oh, you just won this award. And I went, oh, really? What did I do,
All right, but now, Dixie, let's fast forward here.
Yeah. Well,
We've been doing this 40 years.
yes, and we have, for the first 30-something years, it's worked really well. But right now it's the different time, okay? Now, having a diagnosis is not enough because so many of the hospitals, of the programs that were helping us, they just can't do it with the economy the way it is. They can't. It's not that they want to. I know doctors at each one of these hospitals that if I get on the phone and I bawl like a baby, they're going to sneak them in some way, Because I have, if I get a 30-year-old with a bad cancer that I know could really survive, and, I call certain of my friends in oncology, they will get them in. But now they're telling me, Dixie, we just can't, man. We can't. They won't let us. They won't even take certain kinds of Medicaid.
Medicaid, right. And that's part of our challenge is that, yes, the state has a program. It's a Medicaid program. And many of the hospitals, Methodist, MD Anderson, they simply are not on that network. They'd be out of network.
Not anymore.
And it would cost the
Not
patient
anymore.
a lot of money. But the thing is, that program is very limited. Its criteria is very clear. 200% poverty level, and they have to be a citizen. And it even gets down to I think we have 15 women on our list right now, just since March, who we've diagnosed. What happens when you know we're not going to be able to get them into treatment?
Well, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to sit and tell a woman she has cancer, but this is like 1983. I don't have anything to offer you, And can you imagine in your wildest dreams what it's like? You have this monster on your chest and you can feel it. And it's growing. You can even feel it grow. And you could totally be cured, but no one will help you. And your family has to watch it grow. And, that's a sin. That is a sin.
And we are talking about low-income people working 2 and 3 jobs.
Absolutely.
Once that woman gets to that stage, she's almost not able to work.
And now they're younger.
They're younger,
They're
yes.
younger. I've had 10 people in their 30s in the last 6 months. And that's not little cancers. And unfortunately, most of them were uninsured because they didn't tend to it early.
Right.
Because they had no place to go but us.
And of these women that right now in my hand, I know we're trying to find some treatment for, 3 are in Harris County. All the others are not in Harris County.
I know. There's just nothing for
part of what the Rose does is serve a lot of people at a lot of counties. But when we are in a county that doesn't have public health, or doesn't have anything, then those women are looking to us to help get them into treatment.
Well,
unfortunately, some of them make the decision to move to Harris County so they can get into Harris Health. We used to be very reluctant to even talk about that, but not anymore. This is ridiculous.
honey, even in Harris Health, you can't get in.
Even it takes a long time. Heaven forbid you're here on a tourist visa or anything like that. You're not going to do it. But Dixie, think about this. This woman is going to leave her home, maybe her children, because you don't just get up and move.
No.
And how many of them have had to divorce their husbands because
Yeah.
the combined
is that
income
not
pushes
stupid?
them
But
over?
it has to be.
She loses all
You're gonna
benefits as
die,
a wife.
to stay
Right.
married? No.
No.
That's why we've got to have a hospital.
Talk about this dream you have now.
got to have a breast health hospital. And this even extends to like abscesses of the breast that these people can't get taken care of. Can you imagine? That hurts. It really hurts to have a big pus pocket in your breast, and
it's treatable.
and it's so fixable.
Yes.
You know, you stick a little needle and drain it out, and little antibiotics, and it goes away. And there's just no access to care right now for treatment. And, you know, we did wonderful diagnosing it, and I'm glad we can still do that. But, man, it's almost, I feel almost criminal when I make a diagnosis and then I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I don't know what you're going to do. That's wrong. And we can do this. No, there are enough good people. And, in fact, I've always said it ought to be a model for healthcare anyway, that the people who are interested in this thing take care of it. Don't depend on the government giving you money or the city giving you charity. We need to take care of ourselves. I mean, there should be hospitals for diabetes, for this, that people that have it, they contribute their money and they learn. And another really sadly neglected part of this is prevention. So much of this cancer could be prevented if people were just told what's setting it off. You know, but no, you can't make no money in prevention. With prevention, oh my gosh, you can't get, you can't do treatments if people don't get sick. I mean, the healthcare industry is the biggest health industry in the United States, employing more people. Oh my gosh, if we were to tell you not to get sick, that would just screw up everything.
But I want you to stay on this dream of hospital.
Well, and that's why we've got to have treatment. And a big part of this
what would this
hospital
look like?
Like St. Jude's, where you would never get a bill if you couldn't afford it. And honestly, if I could just, when I tell these people they have cancer, if I could say, now just go on over here to the hospital, check in, we'll get started on your plan and your treatment. You know, they have done, I have read articles, podcasts about, the stress that women undergo when they're diagnosed and they need to go through acupuncture and massage and this and that and the other. Yeah? Well, what if you get told you have cancer and then nobody's going to take care of you?
Yeah.
Is massage going to help that? I don't think so.
No.
You know? We just got to do it. The time is right. The need is there. And I know there are people out there who care, who don't want to see somebody's mother, sister, daughter, man, God, we got 20-year-olds with breast cancer. They don't want to see their child die of breast cancer. Right. When it's, I mean, most of it is totally curable. I mean, people say, oh, well, how can you take care of these ones that are so... I have a lady who still comes to see me. She had a cancer so big 15 years ago. It was the size of a cauliflower, eaten out of the side of her chest, okay? And it had blood, and she had let it go. Stunk so bad. And she decided, I want to live, And so I took care of her, She did everything she was supposed to do. Surgery, radiation, chemotherapy. And she's totally cured. And, I mean, I carry this picture of her, and she knows it, and she, she doesn't mind. It doesn't have her name on it or nothing, but I showed, she's still alive and comes to see me every 6 months. Now, it's so funny because some of the people tell her, you don't need to come every 6 months. It's been so long. And Linda says, she says, oh, no, you don't understand. It makes Dr. Melillo very happy to see me. That's why I come. I said, yes, as long as she's still alive, there's hope for everybody. And hope to me there's no situation I wouldn't have hope in.
Right.
It's in God's hands. If he decides you're going to be cured, you're going to be cured. If he, it's totally, God's hand has been on the rose forever.
Yeah.
So many times we thought, this is it, we're going under a bump. And somehow God provides us with some awesome person that donates incredible amounts of money and the buses and the coaches. Oh my God, that's a miracle. That is that's the hand of God. And if he took a little beanhead like me and made a doctor out of her, he can do anything,
But Dixie, God also gives us the ability to treat these things. And how frustrating that we have women, so many women, that we can't get into treatment. Not for any reason. I want to be real clear. It's not always a legal status thing.
No, mercy, no.
Many times
No.
it is they're $100 over the
Yeah.
limit for income. Hence, they have to divorce their husband.
Husbands have to cut their hours at work. That's
and
a sin.
and they also have to be here 5 years if they're have the green card, the residence. 10 years of working quarters. Now, this is one of those little things that it's part of the requirements, and most folks wouldn't even understand it. But how many of our lower income women have worked for 10 years, can show you on their Social Security, here's my working history. Many of them are paid as housekeepers, as their husbands are cash paid. They can't show it, or they have to use their husbands. And if they don't have that 40 quarters of work, think about it, then you're out of luck again. There's so many
ridiculous.
different nuances about what qualifies you and what doesn't. I tell my staff, patient navigation helps our patients who are diagnosed with their application process. Well, that doesn't sound like a big deal unless you know that application, just the application alone is 40 pages, and you miss one line and it gets
kicked back.
So, our navigators are they're the ones that are incredible.
They're awesome.
They'll find any way they can, but we've had some doors closed that aren't going to reopen, that used to have charity programs that we could get our women in, who fell in that crack, who fell through the system. And it's going to be more and more. Think about with the changes in ACA, affordable health care, we're going to see many more uninsured, and they're not going to qualify. So here we are in the United States, one of the wealthiest countries around, and we have people dying
from things they don't need to die from.
Things they don't need to die from.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I cannot tell you how many of my guests who are insured will say, I knew I was going to survive. I knew I just had to get to the hospital. I had to follow things. There was no doubt in their mind because they had insurance. But our uninsured women will always say, I didn't know how I was going to pay for this. That's right. I didn't know if I was going to live.
Physiologically, that stress, that cortisol release, this really hurts your immune system to fight that cancer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to play down the stress of being diagnosed, but the stress of being diagnosed and not knowing how you're going to get care is 1,000 times worse.
Exactly what you just said. They have no hope. They have no confidence, no possibility. They are left to die. I mean,
it's so sad to be dying of something that could be cured.
Mm-hmm.
That's just wrong.
All right, what would you do to get this hospital started?
Well, I already told God that we need this hospital, and I've told him exactly, I want it to be, anybody can go there,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to have the best doctors and nurses and staff that really care, okay? They're going to be treated like real compassionate human beings, and they're going to be taught nutrition and prevention and really even cutting out the sugar and the carbs during chemo makes the treatment work better. People don't know what a PET scan is. A PET scan is what they use to see the size of the cancer and the locations.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they inject you with for a PET scan?
What?
Radioactive sugar. Because the cancer takes up 200 times more sugar than the surrounding structure. Duh. Would you not tell that patient, let's not feed this cancer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the breast cancer cells have 6 times more insulin receptors on them than a normal cell. They suck sugar. They get the first part of any sugar.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like looking the other way because it offends the sugar industry.
Well, I don't think everybody is, because you're certainly not.
No, not everybody. But so many people are just, oh, no, that's not standard of care. No, people can eat anything they want. That's not true. We're being lied to.
But until you know how this medical world looks and operates, until they have that study that's absolutely.
Oh, they have it.
They
have it.
According to most of them, they don't.
They have it. They have it. They don't teach it in medical school. They don't teach it in residency because 80% of medical school is paid for by the pharmacology industry. And they are not going to teach prevention, and they're not going to teach metabolic health.
All right, so this hospital.
I think they're going to start, but this hospital is going to take care of everybody.
You're going to have a whole wing that has nothing but prevention.
That's right. And I'm going to have free child care for the employees. Child care is ridiculous. A lot of people that are really good can't work. And, you don't want your child halfway across town getting sick when you're trying to work.
Well, would it just be for employees or
Yes.
for patients, too, who needed that care for the day?
That's a good idea. Good idea. Yeah, if they're
Because you know how many times compliance becomes an issue.
No, you are so right.
Because they don't have anyone to take care of the babies.
Excellent.
And, that's the other thing. Breast cancer no longer is the disease of the middle-aged woman or the older woman.
No,
as
ma'am.
you've said, young.
Ma'am.
I mean, just trying to raise children and go through treatment is a nightmare.
Yeah.
But boy, when you have no help, and so many don't,
I know it.
then it becomes
See, and
another
that's why
issue.
I love so much. Like Navigation putting on this Christmas party.
Oh yeah,
Buying presents for these women with no money, no insurance that have children. I mean, see, that's what the Rose is about. That's what compassion and caring and that's what's so lacking in today's world. And we've got to bring it back.
So how big is your campus, dear?
Probably 15 acres. You think that's big enough?
No, but it's a start.
Well, I mean, it's just a thought. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
I want people to see it. I want them to see it in their, it would be, I want when you walk through the doors, I never saw our hospital having here's someone waiting on you to tell you, like a desk, like a reception desk. I always saw you walked in and someone is coming to get you.
Yeah.
Someone is coming up to you, already knows you're there, ready to take you somewhere. You're not
absolutely
waiting. 90% of, I think, and only because I've had enough of my own issues to have to wait, and you're waiting for that next appointment, you're waiting for someone to see you. And when you finally get in the office, it's 7 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, and one problem, or else another CPT code or something.
So, wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody was really there? Your person knows you like you know your patients and knows that it's been a hard time because your mother died that year and or all the other things that go on in our life. People are not just a one disease entity.
Well, they treat them like they're just a disease and not a person.
Right.
We've got to make a difference.
We have made a difference now, Dixie. But
you
have a new dream, and that's what we're talking about, the St. Jude Hospital for breast cancer.
I just know that I know that it's going to happen because I know there are good people out there who really believe in this and who can see the fallacy of dying of something so curable and taking out our young people.
And why does having money or insurance dictate whether we live or die? That is not
wrong.
That is not right. You're
wrong.
Absolutely right.
Access to health care should be a right for everybody,
It's not even close to that, but the other part of it is there's not enough hospitals, treatment to even go around. So this is not an unreasonable dream. This is a dream that needs to happen and needs to get in place.
And I really believe now is the time. I really believe that somebody's going to hear this and they're going to make fun. Now, you have to realize I'm a dreamer, and she understands this because I just come up with these wild ideas, and somehow she makes it happen. So,
but it's not just me, Dixie.
You'll
have your group around you that's going to make it happen.
God better he'll never can send me somebody as good as you.
Well, yes, he can. And
I would tell her, we've got to do biopsies. We've got to have ultrasound. We've got to have stereo. And somehow somehow she would make it happen.
But you know, Dixie, this was the one thing I never could make happen was your hospital. And I knew have wanted it from day one. So I am so glad that you're here talking about it. So glad that you're sharing this dream.
But you're still going to be on my shoulder advising me, right?
I'm even
You're not gonna
more
leave me.
delighted. I'm more delighted that you're opening up to our true problem,
Yeah.
to how serious this is. It is so serious, and we can't look the other way anymore.
No, this is wrong.
We've
It's
spent the
wrong.
last year trying to work around, trying to find plans, trying to make it work for the patients, and without more available treatment, women are going to die,
Yes,
and we
yes.
can't help.
And that's preventable.
Yes. So let's see this dream come true.
It will. No, I really feel more than ever in my whole life that this is the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really know. I mean, God knows I'm a business beanhead. In fact, they don't even let me have anything to say up there because they know I'd be giving everything away, and we would have gone under years ago if they hadn't said, no, Dick, we're not going to stay with $50 mammograms. Remember how I used to say?
Oh, yeah.
And they said,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Listen, I've lived with
that's
you for
not
40 years. I
Yeah.
know everything about you.
And, you know, honestly, I've been a doctor for 50 years. I have never, ever not seen a patient because they couldn't pay. I have never turned someone away because they owed me money.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand that, you know?
I know.
Now, I've never turned somebody over to a collection agency.
Mm-mm.
But did you know?
And you've not let us do that.
Recently, I got turned over to a collection agency. I went to this little practice next to me to get a TB shot, okay? It was like $15, and I begged them to let me pay. Please, let me pay. You know, I've got insurance, but, let me pay. Oh, no, Dr. Melillo, we would never make you pay. 6 weeks later, I get a letter for a collection agency for $15. I mean, they were mortified when I took it to them. It was a mistake, but
It happens. It's a system. It's the way it is.
I thought,
Mm-mm.
excuse me, I have never not paid a bill on time in my
Right.
entire life. You know, that's why I run around.
What if you didn't have that $15?
Wow.
What if,
Yeah.
and so many of our women have to make a decision
I understand.
that, is it my health or is it food on the table?
Oh, and that's the biggest problem. Cancer doesn't hurt. You know, in the breast, it can get huge, and it's really not painful 99% of the time. And here you've got children that want to eat, and you want to go see a doctor. Oh, well, that's $80 copay or something like that. You know, they're just not going to take care of themselves. Women always put themselves last. You know, and we have got to.
So your hospital would be a women first. And you would not only make sure it's women first,
Absolutely.
it would be
But
that,
if men have breast cancer, they
oh,
can
we
go
know,
too.
we know. But it would be that emotional
Yeah.
and that psychological.
Yes, yes, and knowing that you're loved and you're cared for, and you know, I mean, that you're hugged. I hug all my patients, you know, and
Well, you're going to see it
sometimes
happen.
you've got to be held. Sometimes you just got to be held.
Yeah.
I go home and I have makeup all over my coats and everything, and there's, oh, what happened to you? Well, you know, somebody hugged me today, you know, and to me it's a badge of honor, you know. When you're scared, you need to be held, you know. And I'm so old now. I'm like Mother Melillo to everybody, you know. I'm going to be 80 this year.
I know.
Is that not awesome?
It is.
It blows me away because I feel good and I'm having fun, and
Well, and you're at the perfect age to start this hospital.
I am.
So-
Moses was 80
Well,
when he led the people out of Egypt, so he worked till he was 120, so it could happen.
it could happen. Hey, I believe you, woman. I've believed you for all these years, so I know you'll make it happen with some help. And that's what this
God will make
podcast
it
is all
happen.
about.
God will make it happen, and I will be his little helper. I just want him to know I'm available, sir.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So one last word.
Be kind. Don't forget kindness, compassion. Let's go back to caring for one another. Mm-hmm. If you take care of God's people, He will take care of you. You know, I've never seen it fail that I've had everything I ever needed, and He has supplied it. And we've just got to return to kindness. Be kind.
I agree. Thank you, my dear, for being here today.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for sharing this awesome dream.
And I'm going to keep sharing it with you.
All right.
I need you.
It'll happen.
At least now you don't make me dress up funny because I look so old and funny looking.
Dixie! All right. Thanks to our listeners who gave us this
now,
time.
Somebody out there is going to hear this, and they're going to say, yes, this is a good idea. Yes, this will give me purpose to help people. I know y'all are out there. Now, I know you're there. So come on, let's get on board. Let's do this thing. I need some help here.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.